Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining me for the 11th episode in my series on the most important women in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today's segment is the fourth in a compilation of 7 parts on Aishah bint Abu Bakr, the third wife of our beloved Prophet. The incidence of slander was the most difficult time in Aishah's life. It happened to Aishah radiallahu anha because she was the most loved from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she was the least likely person that would ever commit such a scandal. It happened to her specifically to catch everyone's attention and make more of an impact, as this is such a sensitive issue that has drastic consequences. It was the month of Sha'ban in the 5th year of the Hijrah, and the Muslims were heading to battle. The way the Prophet would choose which wife was going with him was that they would draw lots, and this time it was Aishah that ended up with the lot. So she set out with the army, carried on a camel in her howdah, which was a small covered carriage on top of the camel's back. That battle ended in victory, mashallah, for the Muslims, and they began their homeward journey. Halfway to Medina, the army stopped to rest. Aishah took this opportunity to go and relieve herself and walked out far from the men. On her way back, she realized that she had lost the necklace that she was wearing, which had been borrowed from her sister Asma. So she retraced her steps until she found it and started making her way back to the camp again. However, by the time she reached the camp, she realized that the army had moved on. You see, Aishah radiallahu anha was so thin and light that the men who lifted her howdah didn't realize she still wasn't in it when they put it back on the camel and left with the army. Aishah was a fearless girl, however, and she knew that as soon as the Prophet realized she wasn't there, somebody must send back to get her. So she decided to stay right in her place and wrapped herself up in her cloak and went to sleep. Safwan bin al-Mutalim as-Sulamani had fallen behind the army and had reached the place where Aishah was sleeping by morning. When he realized who it was, he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. To Allah we belong, and to Him shall we return. It is the wife of the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." He then lowered his camel and moved away from it so she can mount it. Safwan started leading the camel as he walked beside it and was able to eventually catch up with the army by the next day. Everyone noticed their arrival and saw Aishah, the Prophet's wife, dismounting the camel. It was at this time that the hypocrites started creating material for a scandal. This was led by Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, who was known for his slanderous gossip. The rumors spread through Medina like wildfire, but Aishah had no idea. She had become sick from that trip and stayed home for an entire month while this was all going on. She did start to notice a few things that were odd, however. She realized that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not taking care of her in the great way that he usually did when she was sick. He was a little bit distant. One night, Aishah radiallahu anha went out with a lady named Musta to answer the call of nature. On their way back, the old lady tripped and started cursing her son. Aishah was surprised and started defending him, saying that he fought alongside the Prophet and that he deserved respect. She said, "Haven't you heard what they have been saying?" Musta then revealed to Aishah that he was involved in an awful and frightening plot, and she informed her of the rumors that had been ruining her reputation for the past month. Aishah was absolutely shocked. She ran home and immediately asked the Prophet for permission to go stay with her parents. When she got to her parents' house, she asked them if they had heard this story, and they confirmed that it was true. "Oh, mother, what are these people talking about?" said Aishah. "My daughter, take it easy. For by Allah, there is no charming lady who is loved by her husband, who has other wives as well, but that those co-wives would find fault with her. Take it easy, for there is a relief giver for every distress, a supporter in the face of every injustice, and there is a refuter for every false accusation. That is Allah, the one true Lord. Be He glorified. These were such wise words from Ruman, and something we should remember every day. Now, the ending to this story warrants its own episode. So please, join me tomorrow for the continuation on the story of Aishah, radiallahu anha. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.